Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be building this female brownie. The partner to the male brownie, she's going to have some pantaloons and a little skirt and her little shoes. So you need to get whatever colors that you're going to need. This video is going to be making the legs, the arms, the ears, the nose, and probably the mouth. We're not doing eyeballs for this one. We're just going to use safety eyes. Try to make this video as short as possible. So you are going to need to decide what color that you want your clothes to be, because we're going to start with the color for our shoes. Let's jump right into this. So I'm using a 4mm and I'm using a 4-weight yarn. This is all 4-weight, I'm pretty sure. These are the colors I'm using. And these are all 4 weights. I'm not sure. I think they're Bernat Super Value. Except for this. I think this is a Red Heart. Either way, they're all 4 weights. So let's start with whatever shoe color you want to start with. I'm going with yellow. So we're going to start with a slip knot. We're going to chain 8. In the first stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. The next stitch, you're going to do a half double. The next stitch, you're going to do a half double. The next stitch, you're going to do a double. Next stitch is a double. This next stitch is going to be a half triple. So you're going to yarn over twice. You're going to go into the stitch. You're going to pull through 2, and then you're going to pull through 3. This last stitch, you're going to put 4 of those in the same stitch. So 4 half triples in the last stitch. So pull your slip knot and see how we're trying to come around a corner here. So I just want you to turn. I'm going to weave my end in. So pull that as tight as you can, making sure you're getting into the first stitch right next to your knot. So that's your slip knot. You need to get into this stitch right beside it with another half triple. Your next stitch is going to be a double. Your next stitch is going to be a double. So we're just repeating now what we did on the other side, but backwards. Next 2 stitches are going to be 1 half double in each stitch. I got snagged. And then your last stitch here is going to be a single crochet. So that's your foot. Yes, it should be curling up like that. So just flip it right side in, and that's what it should look like. So you can mark this next stitch. So come across to your next stitch. This is going to be an elongated stitch, so you got to really be careful that you're getting into the right space. Put a marker in there just so you can work along with me. So this looks like a stitch here, but it's not. It's part of that stitch. You got to come way over here for your next stitch. Put a single crochet. Your next stitch is going to get a half double. Your next stitch is going to get 2 half doubles in the same space. Next stitch is going to get a half double. The next stitch is going to get 2 half doubles in the same space. The next stitch is going to get a double. Then the next 3 stitches all along the top of the toe is going to be 2 double crochets in each stitch. Your next stitch is going to get a double. Your next 2 stitches are going to be half doubles. Oh, sorry, your next stitch is going to be 2 half doubles in the same space. Then you're going to do a double, or a half double, sorry. Not paying any attention. Your next one's going to be 2 half doubles. Same thing we did on the other side, but backwards. 2 half doubles in the same space. Then you're going to do a half double in the next stitch. And then you're going to do a single in the very last stitch. So, same shape, just bigger. So now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. You should have 23 stitches. So that's my 23. It looks like a little boat. So now I want you to do 9 single crochets. We're going to start decreasing around the toe because we have to make it look like a foot. So that's number 1. I just don't feel like that's 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, that's 9. Alright, so around the toe, we're going to do 2 single crochet decrease 2 times. So that's 2 single crochet and a decrease, that's 1 time. One more time. 2 single crochets and a decrease. I'm doing invisible 2 times. So the invisible ones are done exactly the same, just in the front loops only. So now you should have 6 single crochets, back to your marker. So now you should have 21 stitches. Your next round is going to be 8 single crochets to start, and then we'll decrease the toe again. So that's number 1. That's 8 single crochets, and then we're going to do the 2 single crochet decrease 2 times. That's 2 single crochets, and then your decrease 1 time. Two single crochet decrease 2 times. And now you should have 5 single crochets back to your marker. And this leaves you with 19 stitches. So we're going to change to skin color. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to pick up a loop, then I'm going to pull through my skin color. That's my first stitch. I'm going to use a marker because these colors are very close to being the same. I mean, they're both very light colors. So, I'm going to weave in just on the first stitch, and then I'm just going to tie a knot with those 2 pieces later. So I'm not going to weave this round. Oh crap, it's supposed to be in the back loop only. So sorry, I had to sneeze. I moved the camera and everything. So I'm still going to weave in these 2 pieces. So back loop only. One single crochet. No, it's not. Sorry. 11 single crochets. That's going to be number 2. I didn't do back loop here, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Back loop only. The reason I chose to do back loops is to give this thing around the foot in case you wanted to come in and make it look like a shoe by putting stitches on your front loops. We'll get to that. So for now, back loops only, 11 single crochets. What do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 11. So now we're going to decrease just once. So back loops only. And now 6 single crochets back to your marker. This gives you 18 stitches. So now for the next 10 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of those 18 stitches. Let me just put my marker in, and then I'll show you what to do with the other color. We can just cut it off. So cut it off with a little bit of a tail. Flip this inside out. So that can stay in there because that was just from our anyway, These two, I'm just going to tie them in a knot back here. So a light first knot, because I don't want to screw up my stitches. But I'm going to do a tight second knot. And then you can just kind of snip this off short. But leave nubbies. Don't snip it all the way down, because the knot will work its way out, and then potentially so could your yarn come undone. So stuff this along the way, but don't fasten off after your 10 rows, because we're switching back to the other color to do the pantaloons. So 1 single crochet, 18 stitches, 10 rows, and then we'll come back and do a color change. So I will see you on the other side. So I am on my 10th row. Get rid of this. I'm on my last stitch. I gotta do my color change. So this is where I'm gonna pull at my loop, and I'm gonna add my color. So I'm just gonna drop that down. I'm going to weave in the first stitch. So your next row with the yellow is going to be back loops only again. So I'm going to do 1 back loop here for my first stitch, weaving in my 2 pieces, but then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to let those drop, and I'm just going to tie them in a knot later, because I am done with the skin color. We're going to end with the yellow. So back loops only, and we're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around for 18 stitches. So I've come all the way around. Again, I'm just going to cut my skin color off for the tail. And I'm going to make a knot with these 2 ends, just because I didn't weave them in. I don't want them coming undone, so I'm going to do a light single knot and a tight second knot. Cut off, leaving some nubbies, and then that'll just be inside the leg. So I'm just going to put some stuffing in mine before we continue. For the next 5 rows, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each of those 18 stitches you should still have, and then that'll be it. I'm not fastening off of this one because it's my second one. I already have my first one for the video. So fasten off your first piece, leaving a little bit of a tail, because we want to sew the 2 legs together, but we're only using a few stitches for that. Do not fasten off the second one, because we need to crochet these together, but make sure you're stuffing them the same. They have to be stuffed the same. So make sure, well, I'll write this down. You don't actually have to remember that, because I'll write it down. I'll put what you have to do now, the 5 rows on my screen. The next screen will be the pattern for the entire leg, so you can make that, and then I'll be sure to write, do not fasten off the second leg, so you won't have to remember it. I'll write it down, and I will see you on the other side. So I'm all done this leg. I'm not fastening off. I am going to get another stitch marker. I'm going to put it around this loop. I'm going to set it aside because I don't want to I don't want to lose my loop if I have to move it or whatever. So just make sure that your two legs are stuffed the same so they don't look completely stupid. I think mine are pretty close. Let's move on to arms. So we need to make the thumb first. This is the arm. I'm doing a different shirt color, so that's why that's blue, because that's what my shirt color is going to be. We're going to make the thumb first. Because when we start making the hand, we gotta crochet the thumb on. So start with a magic ring. And I want you to put 6 single crochets in here. And pull that tight. For the next 2 rows, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of these 6 stitches. If you feel the thumb is too big, then do 4 single crochets or 5 single crochets. There's no rule saying you can't do 5. Nobody ever does it though. Yeah, I don't have a stitch marker. I'm just going to count to 12. There's my first 6. So before I go any further, first of all, I'm going to snip this off a bit. I'm going to flip this inside out to make my life easier. I'm just using the end of my hook, number 1, to push down that piece of yarn, and number 2, just to kind of shape it before I put my next 6 stitches in there. So that is my 6, well that's my 12. That's my 2 rows. And I go into the next stitch and fasten off. You need a little bit of a sewing tail because we are going to sew this to the hand, but we're only using a couple of stitches, so you don't need a whole lot. Just a tiny little bit. So you can just give it a better shape and set that aside. So the hand, we start the same way. We're going to start off with another magic ring. You're going to put 6 single crochets in here. Pull that. You're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around, giving you 12 stitches. So I'm just going to count to 12. That's my 12. Really a stitch marker. For the next 2 rows, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of these 12 stitches, and then we're going to crochet on the thumb. So this is my 2 rows done. This is where we're going to put our thumb on. So make sure that knot's pulled tight. So just using, now go in the stitch right next to your marker. So just go right into the next stitch with this. So use these 2 stitches. So that's stitch number 1, that's where you fastened off. You can use that stitch, and then you can go right next door to that stitch and use that stitch. So on the second stitch, I want you to make a knot. That's all you really need to do to sew it on. So I'm just going to cut that off, leaving a nubby that I can tuck down into the hand. Because for the most part, this isn't getting stuffed. So now we crochet 1 single crochet all the way around everything. So you got your marker stitch right there. Talking with a marker in my mouth. So you got no more stitches, so this is where I sewed. So pop over to the next stitch that's available to you. And then just go around the thumb, hitting your stitches. Now that's 4. And 5 is going to be tight to get into, because it's kind of small. So I use this stitch to sew into. I'm going to pop across to the one right next to it, and I'm going to make a stitch. So you should have no holes. Should be all sewn in. Now I'm just going to keep going around to my marker. 1 single crochet. Now I'm not counting my stitches, but the count I wrote down when I designed this was 15. I'm not counting mine. Things generally go awry when you sew things to things. So, who knows? Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. So that's my 1 single crochet. So jump right into your decrease. Now this stitch is going to seem really small because you pulled across, but make sure you get into it. So your decrease should end just before you go back into the doll, or the hand. So I can't fit another sequence in. I'm just going to put 2 single crochets. That's what I got left, is 2 stitches. I'm just going to put a single crochet in each. So I said 10 stitches is what you should have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 10 stitches again. So I guess I'm right on the money. For the next 12 rows, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of those 10 stitches. So it goes pretty fast. You can put a little bit of stuffing in this, but really, don't put any in the thumb. It'll make your thumb stick out more. But you can start stuffing it, stuff along the way, and then we're going to switch colors because we want to do the top of the shirt color. So I'll see you on the other side. So this is my 12 rows. I gotta switch colors. I just thought I'd put some stuffing in here. Alright, so I'm going to be using this blue color for my shirt. So I'm going to go into my next stitch and pull up a loop. Now you can make this a slip knot if it's easier for you. Put it on your hook. Make sure this is pulled tight and pull through. So I'm finishing with the blue. I do not need these two colors, but I'm going to weave in the first stitch. And then I'll just tie them in a knot like I did before. So for the next 6 rows, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch. So easy peasy. So I'm just going to make my first I'm not weaving in. So that's my 10 stitches. I'm going to cut off the white, the skin color, with a little tail. And again, I'm just going to ever so lightly do 1 knot and then a tight second knot. It doesn't have to be close up to the arm. As long as the knot's there, it's not going to come undone. And then I'll just jam that down there and put stuffing over it. And then my knot and everything is all in the inside. Nobody sees anything. I find that when you weave in, you're doubling up the yarn, so I mean essentially it gets really thick in that spot. So anyway, that's your first row. You got 5 more rows to do, and I'll see you on the other side. So that is my 6th row. You can just fasten off both arms with a little sewing tail. Go ahead and make your other one, and I will meet you back here to make the ears. So this is the ear. It's the same as the other ear. It's not the same. It's not built the same. But it's a different size. Hopefully I have enough of this ball left to do it. We're going to start with a magic ring. Six single crochets. We're going to do 1 single crochet because I want it pointy, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. That's my 6 stitches. So you can do whatever you want with your little guy here. I'm just going to cut mine off a little shorter. Fold him around. So we'll just stick that down in there. Now your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. So we're going to increase gradually. This will bring you up to 9 stitches. 1 single crochet. Your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. So you should do this 3 times. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. So bring you up to 12 stitches. And again, you're going to do it 3 times. That's number 1, that's 2 single crochet, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. This will bring you up to 15 stitches. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. And then your next round after that will be 5 single crochets and an increase. You should have 21 stitches. For the next 6 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of those 21 stitches. And I will see you on the other side. So this is my 6 rows. So I have a funny story. This is all I have left. I've already made my other ear for the video. This is all I have left. This I think is a red heart because it feels like a red heart. It's not that soft. It's not that nice. I have this stuff, which is a slightly different color. It's probably hard to tell on camera. It's a slightly different color, but it's going to be so noticeable. And this is this kind, which is great. I use this stuff all the time. I used to use red heart, which is why I was trying to get rid of my red heart because I don't like it anymore. It's too stiff. So I have to finish this ear and the rest of the project with a lighter color because I don't have any more of this left. I thought I had some left. I have some of this color left, but it's not the same thickness. They all say 4-weight, but there is still a size difference. So if I was to finish this with the same color, it would be a completely different shape because it's a thinner yarn. So to get the same thickness, I have to use this color for my color change. I'm not at my color change yet, but or not a color change, to add more yarn. So I got a little bit ways to go. I'm going to try to squeak this decrease in. So your next round, so this is your 6 rows done. Your next round is going to be decrease. We're going to do decrease after decrease. So I would suggest doing invisible decreases, which are just done in the front loops, done exactly the same way, just in the front loops. That's number 1. That's 5 single crochets and then your decrease. So because I'm stacking decrease on top of decrease, that's why I'm doing the invisible ones. And repeat. So that's my decrease done. I've only got this much left. So I'm just going to do my color change, I'm just going to add my new ball here. So I add my new ball the same way I do a color change. So I'm just going to pull up a loop. I'm going to add my new ball. I'm not happy that they're two different colors. I'm not happy about it. So just make sure you pull down on your old stuff. And I'm going to weave in, like I always do, the first stitch where my marker goes. Oh, I guess this is where my marker goes. So your next round is going to be 4 single crochet decrease. That'll be number 1 with the marker. So I'm going to weave in my ends. But then I'm just going to let them, I'm going to do the knot thing. Oh yeah, you can see it definitely changing color. That's 2. That's 3 and that's 4. And then your decrease. So your next decrease is obviously going to be 3 single crochet decrease. Now my grandkids won't care that this doll is going to be 2 different colors, but hopefully you have all the same colors. That's 3 single crochets, then your decrease. And your next decrease is 2 single crochet decrease. We're not stuffing this ear, by the way. That's number 1, that's number 2, and then your decrease. And the last decrease is 1 single crochet decrease. This brings you down to 6 stitches. And then you can fasten off. So your marker's number 1, so you go right into your decrease after that. And you do it 3 times, just like everything else throughout the project. So you can go into the next stitch and fasten off. We got such a tiny little hole. So you need a sewing tail. So these ears are way easier to sew on because you sew them on the side. You don't have to try to sew them on that way. So you don't need as much of a sewing tail as you would for like maybe a bear or something. But we are going to kind of cinch the end of this closed. I can see a slight color change. Oh, my battery's going to die. So go in the front loop and out the front loop. And then just pull. But I still want you to secure it with a knot. Because that's not the part that's getting sewn. We're sewing down this way. So You can scooch up to here if you want with your piece. And that's her ears. So you can see a slight color difference in that, but maybe not for you through the camera. It's hard to see. So I'm going to change my battery and then we'll be on with the nose, and then that's probably going to be the end of this video. We'll put everything together in part 2. So let's do the nose next. So the nose is pretty quick. It's so small. It's very pointy, but it's small. So we're going to start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. For the next 3 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of these 6 stitches. So you can just count 18 or use a marker. So now we're going to start increasing. So we want you to do 1 single crochet and an increase. This will bring you up to 9 stitches. So you're going to do this 3 times, but I'm still going to use my marker. So that's 1 single crochet, and then your increase, obviously, of 2 single crochets in the same space. Your next increase is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. So I know it does look funny, but you are going to put stuffing in this, so it's supposed to be a funny looking nose. So your next couple of rounds, I'm just going to do a couple of rounds to make this video a little bit shorter. This one's going to be 3 single crochets and an increase, and your next one's going to be 4 single crochets and an increase. So that's my 4 single crochets. I'm going to put some stuffing in this before I do my last 2. Your last 2 increases is going to be 5 single crochets increase and 6 single crochet increase. So it's too much stuffing. So make sure you're putting some stuffing down for the point of that nose. And then that is it. I did not do 1 single crochet to even out, because you can see how it gets uneven because we're working in a spiral. And I didn't do the 1 single crochet because I like the look of it. So I actually ended with just the increase. So that's number 1. This will be your 5 single crochets. 2, 3. And then your increase. So this is what your nose looks like. I'm not going to finish stuffing it until I start sewing it onto the face, and then I'll sew 3/4 of the way around and then finish stuffing it. At this point you can fasten off. So we didn't put any warts on this one either. So when I build this, she's not going to have any warts or anything. She's a lot better looking than the guy. I mean, he works really hard. He's tough looking. So this, where I increased, I like that. If you don't like it, you can do one single crochet around, but just know it's going to make it tighten up and curl a little bit. So you might want to do extended stitches, maybe that might help. So the little last thing that we got to do is just the bottom lip, this here. So if you don't want to do that, then we're done the video for all the face parts. And this is the nose. This is the nose completely stuffed and sewn on, so it's not going to look as funny as it probably does right now to you. But we are going to do this right now, and then that will be the end of the video. I know I said that with the nose, but then I forgot about the little lip. And we don't stuff it. So then the next video is going to be pretty quick and easy because all of our body parts are already done, so it's going to be pretty fast. So we're going to put 6 single crochets inside this magic ring. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around, bringing it up to 12 stitches. I'm just going to count. And my last 2. That gives me 12. And then I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each stitch because we need to tighten this up a little bit. So 12 stitches, and then you can fasten off. That's 12. So I'm going to go into the next stitch. I'm going to fasten off. So I need a sewing tail, and we're also going to whip stitch. So do something with the middle if you want. I'm just going to make sure mine's pulled tight. And again, I'm just going to make it shorter. So this tiny little lip gets whip stitched closed. Everything is so much smaller on this brownie than my last brownie. So we're just going to come across and we're going to go stitch for stitch. We're going to close this up. So whip stitch generally is back loop to back loop, but I'm just going in all 4 pieces because it's not that serious. So I'm not sure how purple got in there, but so that just gets sewn on after the nose. It just gets sewn on to the bottom of this guy like that for the mouth. That is it. We are done part 1. So part 2 is going to be crocheting everything together. Hi guys, welcome back to part 2, where we're going to start crocheting this doll together. So you need to get your legs. Yeah, we're jumping right into this. So this one you're still attached. So get your other one. I'm doing it on this side because I fastened off on this side. So you just have to determine whether you want your feet to be out like that, whether you want your feet to be normal, what you want. I think I'm just going to have normal feet. So take a couple of stitches. I'm going to start over here, find a spot, and I'm going to backtrack this way. And I'm going to use a third stitch, just like that. Make my knot before I finish. So that can get stuck down in there. That one's a little full. Let's go into this one. So your first round after sewing the two together is just one single crochet in each stitch. So I saved my loop with my, still using our 4mm G. One single crochet each stitch around. I initially wrote down 32 stitches, but it would all depend on how you sewed it together. So I'm going to go into one of these shared spaces where my stitch is. That makes that 9. And then I'm going to pop across 10. Yeah, that closes the hole. 10. This is 24. I'm going to pop across here into the shared stitch for 25. And that gives me 32. So yeah, I shared, and I have no holes in my crotch, so I shared a stitch with my sewing stitch at the back, one at the front, and that gave me 32 stitches. So we're going to start increasing a little bit, just a little bit, because she's certainly not fat by any means. So we're going to do one single crochet and an increase. I just put that in the wrong one. Wow, I gotta wake up today. I'm fighting this cold. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So that's my increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. It can be so awkward to hold on to these for a little bit. Now, you're going to have some of these might be small stitches. Just make sure you're getting into every one. You should have 48 stitches when you're done. The next round is going to be one single crochet in each of these 48 stitches. So this is what you should have, 48 stitches. So far I'm right on track. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. That's number 1. That's number 2, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. This shall bring you up to 64 stitches. So it looks pretty funny. It's pretty big, but it won't always be. Like, I know right now you're going like, what in the heck? It's not going to be that big. We're going to start just doing single crochets, but this first row we're going to do back loop single crochet so we can put a dress on it later with the front loops. So I have her dress. So here I did back loops so that I could come back later and put a little skirt on her, or a long skirt, whatever you're gonna do. But back loops only. So you're going right into these guys, so you don't need to turn it over or try to. They're pretty easy to find. They're right there. So I don't try to get into the loop. I just use my finger and push it onto my hook. So way easier than trying to get into it. So you should be able to see front loops all the way around. So now for the next 5 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in the full stitch. You should have 64 stitches. And then when we come back after our 5 rows, we will start to decrease. So this goes pretty quick. She's not as big as the last brownie I did. Her husband Brownie. I'll see you on the other side. So this is what you should have. Looks porky, but you just have to stuff her so she's not so porky. She's hippie, but she's not really porky. So we're going to start decreasing. So when you do a 2 single crochet decrease, because we kind of ended there with an increase. So that's number 1. That's number 2. And you can do whatever decrease you want. I'm going to do just regular ones because I'm not stacking them. I'm just doing regular, I'm going to do a 1 single crochet increase in between. So finish your row of 2 single crochet decrease and then do 1 single crochet in each of what should be 48 stitches, and I will see you on the other side. So this is what you should have. Again, I know, looks like she's going to be pretty porky. Anyway, your next decrease is going to be 1 single crochet decrease. It'll bring you down to 32 stitches. And then I want you to do 4 rows of 1 single crochet in each of those 32 stitches. And again, I'm just doing regular decreases. So that is my 4 rows done. I stuffed. Make sure when you're stuffing to get into this leg part really well. Now, yeah, she looks fat now, but when we add the dress on, it's not going to look so bad. So, This is where it gets a little more difficult to film with. We're going to switch colors here. So I'm going to get my blue. That's what my top is going to be. Alright, so I've got my camera up really high. Kind of a different angle as what I normally don't do. So I'm going to go into my next stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop. But I'm going to finish the stitch with my new color. Oops. I'm trying to hold that down at the same time. You can make a slip knot here, or yeah, make a slip knot here if you want, if it's more comfortable. So I'm going to, for this row, just do back loops only, because I want to put a separation around here, so almost like a waistband. So I'm going to go into the back loop. I'm going to make my first stitch. I'm not going to weave these in. I'm going to tie them like I've been doing all along. I'm not going back to the yellow, so I'm just going to tie these two pieces so that nothing happens. So this next row is just going to be one single crochet in the back loops only all the way around. You should still have 32 stitches. So I'm back around. I just want to take care of this business, so I'm just going to take, well, I'm going to cut off my yellow. I'm going to leave a tail because I want to tie these two. So a very light first knot, and then you can do a tight second knot, and then that can just get tucked away. So your next round is just going to be one single crochet in each stitch. I still need stuffing. You can, if you press on it and it doesn't bounce back, that means you need more. I think I'm going to put some stuffing in it, but if you want to work ahead of me, you can do your next row one single crochet in each stitch. You should still have 32 stitches because we haven't done anything, and then we'll do a decrease when we come back. When I meet you back, we'll start a decrease. So one single crochet each stitch around, and I will see you on the other side. So this is what you should have. I put more stuffing in mine, but I still think I need more, which I'll just keep packing it down as I stuff. So we're going to decrease a little bit. We're going to do a 2 single crochet decrease, and then the next 2 rows are just going to be 1 single crochet. This should bring you down to 24 stitches. That's number 1 with your marker. That's number 2, and then your decrease. So I'll put my screen up and I will see you on the other side. So this is what you should have. It's time to start putting the arms on. So right next to, now I haven't finished stuffing this yet because it's going to be way more difficult. When you sew your arms on, make sure your thumbs are pointed out like your feet. So I just have to move my my one side here, because I'm not quite around over here to the side. Not quite there, maybe there. So I'm just going to use 2 stitches. Now I'm not pulling this tight, but I'm just going to pop across to where I need to be. And then you just need to make sure you're in the middle of the body, and then use your stitches. I'm going to use 3 stitches. So I'm going to make my knot, pull back and forth, drop that down in there. So that's one hand. And then this hand is completely fastened off on the completely wrong side. Let me turn my camera a bit. So I gotta go right across to the other side. So just make sure that your thumb is sticking out. And you gotta make sure you're kind of getting them in the same spot. So I just used 3 stitches again. And I'm pretty sure they're in the same spot. So that's what it should look like. And get in the camera. So, easy peasy. We're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Doing the same thing we did with the legs. I'm talking with the marker in my mouth. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the legs. Your next row is 1 single crochet decrease. So that's 1 single crochet, and then your decrease. Now you're going to have, when you went from body to arm, you're going to have a small stitch right there. Just make sure you're getting into it. I wrote down 27 stitches, so the next row after your decrease row is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I will see you on the other side. Alright, this is what you should have. This is what it should look like. And I think, you know, this video's been a couple hours long. I think it's probably time that we stopped and we picked this up in part 3. Which we're going to start we're going to put another row of shirt, and then we're going to start the head in part 3. So, make sure you're stuffing into the arms to make shoulders properly. So just like we did with the legs, you just kind of got to stick some extra stuffing in this shoulder area like that. So then part 3 is just going to be doing the head. We have everything to sew onto the head. So it'll just be doing the head and doing the hat, and then just doing the little extras like putting the dress on her and stuff. So thank you for joining me for part 2, and I will see you in part 3. So welcome back to part 3, where we're going to finish our decreases and we're going to start the head. So let's just jump right into this. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease, and then we're going to switch our colors to, you know, the skin color, so we can start doing the head. So that's 1 single crochet, and then jumping right into the decrease and all the way around. So we do our color change. I'm going to go in, I'm going to pull up a loop, pull my new color through, pull down on everything. I'm going to weave it in just on the one stitch, and then I'll tie it like I've been doing. Get all my stuff out of the way. So we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So for these 2 pieces, same thing, a very light first knot. For those of you that use the centro, you know what I'm talking about, because when we do color changes on the centro, this is what we do. So, and then a tight second knot. I'm going to cut off my tail, or just leaving a tail, and those 2 pieces can get jammed in there with the stuffing. So you should only have 18 stitches, and then we're going to decrease one more time, bringing you down to 12 stitches. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. It brings you down to 12 stitches. My battery is going to die, so I'm just trying to squeeze this in before that happens. But I'm sure you all know what a 1 single crochet decrease is. So once you're done your decrease and you're down to 12 stitches, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of those 12 stitches, and I will see you on the other side. So now that I've got my decrease and my 1 single crochet all the way done, you've got a pretty small hole. So this is where we're going to get aggressive with our increase. We're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. This should bring us up to 24 stitches, and I know it's super aggressive, but we really need it to be round right off the hop. So nice round head. She is going to be bald, so I'm going to make her head look nice. So 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So your next round is going to be, if you need to put stuffing in this to make sure that your shoulders are full, I would do that. I gotta do more. I already did some, but I gotta do some more because my shoulders aren't quite full. Now I don't want your arms sticking out too much, so just be careful of how much you put in here. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase, and this will bring you up to 36 stitches. And then we'll do one more increase after this, and then just straight 1 single crochets. So that's 1 single crochet, then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. and repeat. So that's what you should have at this point, kind of a squiggly mess like this. So your very last increase row before we just do 12 rows of single crochets is going to be 2 single crochet increase. This will bring you up to 48 stitches, and then after that you can do your 12 rows of 1 single crochet in each of those 48 stitches. So this is my 12 rows. Looks pretty funny now. Let's put the eyes on before we start. We're going to start decreasing to close up the head. So I've already picked out my eyes. I don't know. I'm going to put blue on this one. I put green on my last one. I'm going to put blue on this one. And according to my notes, from the color change here, I counted between 13th and 14th row. So between this row here looks like 6 stitches in between. Visible stitches.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? 6?
Yeah, just make sure that, I guess, for the nose is going to sit up quite high. So almost on either side of the nose. And then the little mouth goes on underneath that. It's hard to tell when it's not stuffed, but just make sure you kind of pretend your head is round. Make sure it's lined up. I think mine's okay. If it's not lined up, worst case scenario, it just looks like your head is turned. So just make sure you put your backs on. And we can stuff this. There's a lot to stuff. So I like to push all my stuffing out and then fill the hole. So I haven't completely filled it. I just wanted to make sure that my neck was nicely full so I don't have floppy head, and then around down here. But I've got plenty of time to finish filling it. We're going to do a few decreases. This first one is going to be 2 single crochet decrease, because we ended with a 2 single crochet increase. So that's number 1. That's 2. And then your decrease. So I'm going to do invisible stitches just because it's the head. And repeat. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. This brings you down to 24 stitches, and then I want you to do 1 single crochet in each of these 24 stitches. That's number 1, and then your decrease. So this is what it should look like at this point. I've got 2 more rows to do. I've got 1 single crochet decrease to do again. This will bring you down to 16 stitches. And then I have 1 single crochet in each of those 16 stitches. And then we're going to cinch up the head. So again, that's number 1. And then your decrease. So again, I'm doing invisible only because I'm stacking my decreases, and this is the head, so I want it to look nice. For the most part, there's going to be a hat that's going to be on this head, so I still want it to look nice. You know, in case somebody doesn't want to have the hat on, they want to take it off. So I am done. This should be about the size of your hole that you have left. We're going to cinch this up so you can fasten off. So you just need cinching and weaving tail. That's it. But before we cinch this, make sure it's got all the stuffing in it that you need. Because even though we're putting a hat on the top of this, we don't want any wrinkly parts because we didn't stuff it enough. Like I said, in case somebody doesn't want the hat on, you gotta make sure it's filled properly. So I think that's good. It's to the brim. So we cinch it up by using the front loops. You're going to go in and out the next one. So just like that. In and out, in and out. So when you come back around, you're just going to pull it closed. You're going to want to secure that cinch. So make a knot. Pull this knot back and forth so you tighten that right down, and then you can weave. And that's what the top should look like. Nice and neat. There. There we go. So, now we can start doing other stuff. Alright, so we can start doing some different stuff. Like I already said. Get all my crap out of the way. So, we can build off of this dress. Well, first we can come up here. Let's go up here and do... Put a waistband on this thing. You can use whatever color you want. You can use the shirt color or you can use the dress color. This will be the dress because we're going to attach down here too. So I just want you to attach where your jog is. Unfortunately mine is right in the front, but you're going to pick up this front loop. We're going to do a reverse slip stitch, so I just want you to yarn over like you would normally and then just pull through. I think my tension is a little tight. It's hard to get the first one. I'm not sure why I'm struggling so bad. I've pulled the loop right out of shape now. And my dog keeps moving around. Oh my gosh. So the first one is quite difficult. So I want you to go into your next front loop. You're going to yarn over and pull through. So this is a reverse slip stitch because we're going backwards. Yarn over, pull through. So I turn my hook just because it's easier to get into the front loop. Yarn over, pull through. So I want to keep doing this all the way around. Oh, not sure what that was. Big bang outside. So I am back around. I needed to do a different angle to show you. Oh, I still may not be able to. So I am back around. I'm going to go into that shared space and I'm going to make a stitch into the first one that I did. And then I'm going to fasten off. There's a method for my madness. So pull everything tight. And with these two, I just want you to make a knot. Mine's in the front, so I gotta really watch how I make it look. So once you have the double knot done, it kind of pulls the two ends together. So this one I'm gonna kind of go down and up. Pulls the knot down. Oops, oops, oops. Almost lost it. And then this one, I'm going to go down through the top and out the bottom somewhere. Like that. So it ends up looking like that. Not very noticeable at all. And then you can just cut off your pieces. So now it looks like there's a waistband on this skirt. Sorry, I just hit you. Bad angles. I can't seem to get my angles right today. So let's do the bottom. We'll sew everything on after, before we do the hat, but let's do the bottom because it's also very awkward. So we are going to reattach on the doll. Again, my dog is at the front, which kind of sucks. So I'm actually going to do the bottom of my dress blue. So I'm going to make a slip knot with my blue. We're not doing any backwards nonsense with this. We're going to go forward. So this is the top part of your jog. This will be the bottom part of your jog. So that's where your front loop is. My other front loop is up here. So you need to start at the bottom of your jog to work this way, the normal way. So put your slip knot on. So the first row is going to be single crochet. So I just want to attach first of all. And then I want to put a single crochet in there. I am not going to weave my tail in because I need to use it to pull this knot down because the knot's going to be visible. So go into every front loop and make a single crochet. So if you want it to be all loosey-goosey and you can use a bigger hook to do this, you don't need to use your 4mm. So I'm back around to where my split is. So I'm going to go down in the first stitch I made, not the one where I attached. And I'm going to do a slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 1. I know, that's weird to you because I never do regular crochet. I'm always doing amigurumi. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. That's what I wrote down. That's what I did for my other doll. But you can do double crochet if you want. You can do triple crochet if you want. I think I'm going to do double crochet just because I'm just feeling the vibe today. So I'm going to chain 2. But like I said, my initial doll is 1 single crochet, or single crochets used, 2 single crochet increase. I'm going to do 2 double crochet increase. So yarn over, go into your first stitch. That's a double crochet. Double crochet. And then my increase of 2 double crochets in the same space. So this will make her skirt longer. So I'm back around and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of this first chain. So the third stitch up. I'm strangling my poor guy. My poor girl. So that's what mine looks like. It's all wavy. I think my next 2 rows are going to be double crochets as well, so I'm going to chain 2. And for the next 2 rows, you're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch. And I will see you, or as long as you want. I just did 2 rows, but if you want it longer, you can do more than 2 rows. So I will see you on the other side. So I am all done my 2 rows. That's all I'm gonna do, because I don't really want to hide my pantaloons, so I'm gonna cast off. So I just need enough to weave with. So it's gonna be the outsides, the outside of our stitches. So this guy here that we started with, he can get tucked away. Doesn't really matter where because we're just cutting him off. And then this guy can get tucked up into the dress. So I split some stitches there. I think it gives a better hold. That was my last dress. This is my double crochet to my single crochet, so I like this better. It's a lot longer. A lot longer. So let's move on to sewing on our face and then getting to the hat. So it'd be helpful to pin everything in place. So I haven't finished stuffing my nose until I get at least 3/4 of the way around. But I want you to put it up this close to the eyes. I have my thing at the bottom to start sewing with, so just make sure when you're pinning it that you're leaving, let me turn this, leaving it open enough that you know how wide around it's going to be. So go back up the hole that I just came out of. I go into the next stitch. So that's how I'm going to sew mine on. So I'm 3/4 of the way full. I'm just going to start putting some stuffing in mine. So you just gotta make sure that you're packing it in there pretty good. So I'm on my last stitch. Doesn't really matter where you come out or anything, but you could probably just weave from here. Probably got closer to that eye than I did that eye, but I do not sew well. This is why I don't want to really teach sewing on my channel, but I know how helpful it can be to have some ideas if you don't have a clue. I was new once too, so I remember. So just weave a couple of times. Now when you weave, just make sure that you're going in as close as you can to this guy so that it just looks like a stitch when you pull, just like that. So when you think you've weaved enough, I gotta find my scissors. This doll's so big, the feet kind of batted it all over the place. You can just snip her off. Be done with that. And the mouth gets sewn on literally like that. So you can do the mouse on the mouse. You can do the mouth on your own. I will show you the ears. So my straggler was down here, like yours probably is. I just poked it up so that I came up through here because that's how you're going to sew the ears on. You can put them anywhere you want, but you're going to sew them on the side like this. So it doesn't really matter where you pop out. But I would just go in and out like that, back down the same hole, but come out a different spot. And just do this back and forth a few times. So if you do pull too tight, just you can pop your head back out. Anyway, that's how the ears get sewn on. So I'll let you go and do that, and I'll see you right back here. So this is what she should look like. That's better. So the mouth, you can actually move it up or down. It's pliable. But I forgot to mention just to sew the bottom part, not the top part, but I'm sure you know. So that's what it looks like from the side. So my ears might be a little forward, more forward than they should be, but anyway, last but not least, we've got, oh, I just noticed a spot I gotta pull out. You're probably gonna have to pull out pieces and move your stuffing around and stuff, but anyway, let's get this last bit done, which is gonna be the hat. So initially I had made the hat using yarn with this sparkly yarn, which is a Red Heart Sparkle. Initially I had done that. Now this hat has stuffing that obviously is not staying in place, but it's all stuffed up here. I had used 2 pieces of yarn, but for this one I'm going to use 1 piece, and because the sparkle stuff is quite thin, but I am going to go up hook size so that it's not too small, because I used a 4mm G, what I've been using throughout this project. This is what I used for it, but I wanted it nice and tight. However, I'm going to make this hat using a 4.5 and just 1 piece of yarn, so hopefully it works out to be around the same size. So first, let me get situated. We need to start with a magic ring and 6 single crochets. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So your stitch marker goes in after the first stitch, not the second one. That's my 12 stitches. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochets and an increase. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. That is the sound of my washing machine. My dog is having his spa day, so now's the time to clean all the couch covers and everything. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring you up to 36 stitches, and then I want you to put 1 single crochet in each of the 36 stitches. So it should still be nice and flat. We're going to do 5 single crochets and an increase, bringing you up to 42 stitches. Your next round is going to be 6 single crochets and an increase, bringing your count up to 48 stitches. So it is starting to roll up a little bit. Your last increase round, well, sort of, is going to be 7 single crochets and an increase. I'm going to start decreasing a little bit. You're not going to get this full decrease in because you have I'm okay, how do I explain this? So I need to decrease that. I come right in like a lot. So normally you would start at a 7 single crochet decrease if you ended with a 7 single crochet increase. However, I need it to really come in. So you're not going to be able to finish the decrease, but you can do 5 single crochet decrease, I think at least 7 times, maybe 8. But then whatever extra stitches you have left over, just put single crochets in there. I had 5 extra stitches left over, so I just put 5 single crochets at the end. But first, just worry about your decrease. So we're going to do 5 single crochet decrease. That's number 1. That's 5 single crochets and then your decrease. You can just do a normal one. So repeat that until you can't anymore. So I'm all the way around. I've got 5 stitches left, so I can't get my last decrease in. So I'm just going to do the 5 single crochets as 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you should have 47 stitches at this point. This gives you a certain shape that I needed. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease. And again, you're not going to finish your sequence. You're going to have 3 extra stitches. Just put 1 single crochet in each of those 3 extra stitches. That's number 1, and that's 2, and then your decrease. And I know this seems aggressive, but it's the best way to get the shape I want. So I am done mine, and I have the 3 stitches left I said you'd have. So you just put 1 single crochet in each, and you should have 36 stitches. So you see the shape that I'm getting. I like it. So we're gonna start doing weird stuff now. We are going to do 3 single crochet increase 3 times. Stay with me here. That's number 1, 2, 3 single crochets and then an increase. That's 1 time. 3 single crochets and your increase. That's 2 times. That's 3 single crochets and an increase. It's 3 times. So now we're going to do in the front loops only 3 half double crochet increase 4 times. So a half double is yarn over, go into the front loop, do 3 of those, 3 half doubles, front loop only, and an increase, front loop only. So put 2 half doubles in the front loop. We're going to do that 4 times, so 3 more times. That's 3 half doubles and your increase, 2 half doubles, all in the front loop only. That's 2 times, 3 half doubles, front loop only, is your increase, 2 half doubles in the same front loop. That's 3 times. One more time. Front loop only, 3 half doubles, and an increase. Front loop only. I know I keep repeating myself. So that's 4 times. So now I want you to do 3 single crochet, increase 2 times. 3 single crochet in the front loops only. Or sorry, all together, not front loops, the whole stitch. So 1, 2, 3, increase. So same thing we did at the beginning. And another one. 1, 2, 3, increase. So the reason I went to half double is because I'm trying to put a brim on the hat. This is what we're building right here. That's why. So your next round is still going to be just as weird, just with different numbers. So we're going to do 4 single crochet, increase 3 times. So now that I've explained the first row, I'm probably not going to explain the whole second row. Four single crochets and an increase. So 2 more times. Alright, that was 4 single crochet, increase 3 times. Now we're going to do 3 half double, and we're not doing the front loop, we're doing the whole loop. I only needed this to be able to sew it. So this is the full stitch. You're going to do 3 half double, increase 4 times. That's 1, 2, 3 half double, increase. So 2 half doubles in the same space. 3 more times. Now I want you to do 4 single crochet, increase 2 times. That's 4 single crochets and then the increase. One more time. That's 4 single crochets and then the increase. There we go. Kind of last weird round, we're going to do 5 single crochets and an increase 3 times. So that's number 1. That's 5 single crochets and then your increase. Once. Twice. Three times. So you did notice I went into my half doubles, and that's what I need to do. So now I need you to do 5 half double increases 4 times. That's 1 time. That's 2 times. That's 3 times. One more time. 5 half double increase. That's 4 times. So now I just want you to do 5 single crochet increase to your marker. So if you have an extra stitch like me, just put 1 single crochet in there. I must have screwed up somewhere because I don't recall it being like that. So that's the brim. So you see the hat kind of coming together. So our last round is going to be 21 single crochets, 29 half double crochets, and 13 single crochets. So 21 single crochets. That's 21. So now you're going to do 29 half double crochets. That was my 29 half doubles, and now 13 single crochets back to your marker. And that's my 13. So this is your little hat. It looks better once it gets sewn on and stuffed, but that's your little hat. So we're going to fasten off with a sewing tail. Make it quite long. Some of you can just tack it down, but others who might have children, me, I just tacked mine down because I don't have any kids that are going to be playing with it. I don't think my grandkids are going to be interested in something like this. I make separate dollies for them. So these front loops are there to help you. You can tack down, well, I mean not tack, but you can sew the back of this And this will be at the front to use for stitches so that the stuffing doesn't come out, because you are going to be putting stuffing in this. So this is it for our doll. This is the last thing that we have to do. So it sits on the head between the ears like that. So we don't stuff it right away. So I wanted to make the brim big enough for it to roll up like that, to look some type of cowboyish. I know that sounds stupid, but so you want a little bit of the back. I'm going to go through this stitch and I'm going to kind of weave a little bit up to here, because you want the back to roll up a little bit as well. So I'm going to sew in this area so that I have a little bit of roll at the back. So I'm just going to go down and up. I'm at the front. This is where my front loops begin, right here. Hopefully you can see that. I can't see what my camera's filming, so I'm gonna go not down the same spot, but I'm gonna pop out into the doll part. So all I need you to do is to roll this up, and you're gonna grab some doll, and you're gonna grab the front loop. And we're going to make stitches all along here. So grab a little bit of the doll and a little bit of the loop. You don't need a whole lot of doll. You just need a tiny wee piece of doll and that one piece of loop. So it's almost like a mattress stitch. You're not really going to see it, but it's going to hold your doll. Sorry, it's so hard to sew on camera with some of these dolls. So I just need you to do this all the way across till you run out of front loop over here, and then you can go back to how we were doing it. Don't forget, you still got to stuff this, so that's what it ends up looking like. So it won't even be noticeable. So I'm on my last stitch from my front loops. So I'm just going to go back up into the hat. And I'm going to start making my, just doing the regular that I was doing before. So I still got to put stuffing in this. I've got a little hole here left. So if you feel that you need to use something to really get it in there, you can use your hook. Make sure, because that's going to be down like that, so make sure you're getting into this area in the front really well. So I'm pretty much back around. You can pull this as tight as you want. And if you don't feel like it's good enough and you got extra, you can keep going if you want. I'm just gonna keep going a little bit. I just want this to be a little tighter. And then whenever you're done, you can weave. And I just thought about something. I would like to do a little bow for the back of my hat. So you don't need to weave all that excessively for your hat. This will curl up. Oh, my ear's all out of place. So that's what it's meant to look like. So I think I want to do a little bow for the back. Super cute. So let's just whip up a bow just for giggles. So I didn't do a bow in my other one, but I think I'll do a bow for this one just because I can. So I'm just making this up as I go along. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. That's better. So I have no pattern, but bows are pretty simple. So chain, I don't know. Let's do 6 double crochets. That's 6 double crochets. Let's do 2 singles. And 6 double crochets. Let's chain 1 and do it again. 6 doubles, 2 singles, 6 doubles. That's 6 doubles. Let's do a single and a single and 6 double crochets. One more time. Well, isn't that cute? Fasten off. Let's hide these ends. My battery's gonna die, so if it does, I'll be right back. I'm gonna weave these down to the middle because I'm gonna do something with the middle. Alright, take a piece of string, decide which end you want to use. You can use that side or this side, doesn't really matter. either way. We're tying a knot somewhere. So hold this at the back and you're just going to wrap. So save enough to sew with. Tie these in a knot. And you can make it really tight. It's kind of sloppy, but you can make yours neater than mine if you choose. And I'm going to put that right on the back of the hat. So I'm just going to take each of these pieces and I'm going to pull down. There are better bows. I've got better bows on my channel. And then we're going to tie another knot. Another double knot at the back. Like that. You can weave these up and out of the way. Just poke them right on up there so that they can't be seen. Snip, snip. There's a bow for the back of your hat. There we go. You might want to starch this brim to kind of stay like that because that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to give mine a spray. You can buy this from Amazon. It's good stuff. So this curls here for the ears. Just remember that curls there for the ears. And then this brim sits up like that. So just need to soak it so it stays in place, let it dry, and that is it for the video. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you wanted to put makeup too in the shadowing of the ears, you can do that too. Other than that, I'll say again, thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.